RRatedReviews. It turned into, sorry I'm a little late. Now it turned into R-Rated After Dark. And it's going to be a segment on some DIY, some tips and tricks that I have learned in this new project that I'm just finishing, and a whole bunch of new products and tools, little hand tools and things, not anything like huge and major that I want to go over. I did already make videos that I was in the process of merging so that I could post them, but I haven't been on in a few weeks, and my buddy, my sock boy, Mick, gets a little nervous when he doesn't hear from me, and so smoke signals went out today. Like, send me a lifeline. So I know nobody's here. Somebody's here. Let's see. I'm with Taylor tonight. Taylor says hello. I'm going to get started in a minute and go over a bunch of stuff. I'm going to try to keep it quick and stay on target. So, it's independent thinker. Hello, independent thinker. Taylor says hi. Burk, 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 burk. I'm going to show you what I'm working on. I'm almost finished. And I was saying that I already made the video, but I haven't, the editing process, because the videos get long and then I want to cut them and I make a few of them and merge them. And so, howdy. So I wanted to, and then Mick, my sock boy, got upset and hadn't heard from me. So I figured, you know what? Let me save time and just do the video live instead of the ones I had merged. Let me just put her down. So I'm in my bathroom, and I'm kind of sad because I've cleaned this bathroom every single night, thoroughly from top to bottom, every night for the last almost 2 weeks. And then the next day I just wreck it again because I tiled my shower. I opened up a can of worms, but I learned some really valuable shit. And it's some of it was shocking to me. So I've already finished the tile part. So I'm going to show it to you, but I have to put the fan in. I bought, let me show you my shower. How do we turn this around? Can't I just, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. So this is the towel that I just put in, which I was concerned was going to be a little busy, except I wound up, it looks really pretty. My last bathroom had something similar, but it was solid gray, and then I just had 4 of them as an accent and 4 of them as an accent, and this time I just bought all the tile and used Subway. So this is Marola Spanish clay tile, and it's all hand painted or something. So I opened the can of worms. Here's my can of worms. I bought a fan, and I don't have to have one for the bathroom because I have a window, but I've noticed that when I'm in the shower, the drywall just gets soaking wet. So, and it's dark in here. The bathroom has a lot of light, except once you get into the shower, it's too dark. So I wanted a light and a fan, thinking, okay, easy peasy. The wall to the exterior is right there. I'll run ductwork. I'll put the fan in, and it'll be fine. And you guys know I don't really do electrical. I only know enough to get myself in trouble. So the first thing I learned is, I already knew. Bathrooms are supposed to be on a dedicated 20 amp circuit, not shared with any other room. You can share them with another bathroom if you have one, but only for the outlets, not the lights. There's a whole host of rules, but you can't share your bathroom. Hello, marry me love, hello. You cannot share your circuit from your bathroom with any other rooms. Well, as you all know, welcome to my house, the shit show. The sellers that I bought it from, the guy that lived here before them was a contractor, and he lived here for 40 years. And he was a hack. Everything he touched is just shit. And so I want to put the fan in the ceiling. At this point, I don't even want the fucking fan, but I cut the ceiling open. I've run the wires. The electric in my house is so fucked up that I really don't want to touch it. And the fan, I Googled it. It says it's supposed to be on a minimum of a 15 amp breaker. So it's $9 for a breaker. I have room in the box. And I thought the safest bet for me would be to run just its own line, because I don't want to fuck with the wiring in this room. And if I ran, I had 14.2 and 14.3 wire, and I need 14.3 for the fan and the switch, the fan and the light, if I put them on separate switches. So all I did was ask my cousin. I have a cousin out in Colorado. He's the only family I have, and he's an electrician. And I don't know what level past master or what degree of master. He's a master electrician. And the irony is, my father's whole side of the family were all electricians. My father, my grandfather, my uncle, my cousin. In fact, my father was on the crew that wired the World Trade Center. And I can't do electrical. He was showing this stuff to me when I was a little girl, but unfortunately he passed right after I turned 12. And so I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I can do some basic shit. So all I did was reach out to my cousin in Colorado and I said, hey, I have these 2 switches in the bathroom for the lights. Now, the vanity lights, the 2 vanity lights are on their own switch. The ceiling lights are on a separate switch. And I wanted to put them on like a double switch. One for the vanity. One for, I pray to God every day. So I would love for you to pray for me. I need all the help I can get. So I wanted to put the vanity lights on one switch and the ceiling lights on another. And I have a second one of these. I want to use it for the fan. One for the light, one for the fan. I didn't want to mess with the electric in here. It's already a 2-gang box. So I thought I could just take those 2 switches out and put these in. I learned something so valuable. He's like, I can't really, and he's asking me all these weird questions. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's like, I really can't tell you if you can put any more switches in that box because I don't know what load that box is carrying. And I'm like, what? I thought he was talking about the breaker box. And he's like, I have to know what load your box is carrying. And I said, first of all, I haven't had a load in my box in a couple of years now. But as my cousin, I'm not going to discuss any load in my box with you. So it turns out I learned one of the most amazing things about these gang boxes. These are rated for a certain load and a certain number of wires. And if you're wiring your own house and you don't know that, don't fucking wire your own house. Because my cousin's asking me crazy questions. It turns out the 2-gang box in the wall that has 2 switches is 2 wires over code load. It's not a hazard, but it is a violation if I ever got an inspection. I needed a 3-gang box. And I went out to my shop. I only had a 2-gang and a 4-gang. And I don't want 4 switches across the wall. I can't stand a whole row of switches in any room, especially a little bathroom. So it turns out this 2-gang box actually comes with numbers inside. It comes rated. So he's asked me to measure this little fucking box, 2.5 inches deep, 2 3/4 wide, 2.5 tall. It has 3 pins on the back. He's getting the cubic inches of it, dividing by 7 or multiple. All this calculation went into it and said that gang box is rated for 9 wires. But the switches each count as a wire, and the metal pins on the back also do. So I had 11 technically in that box, and I'm 2 wires over. So I'm going to flip this around and see. He said I could, in essence, use this for the 4 switches, and I'll show you why. See if I can get this to... So the bottom of this, is it there? Oh, I think I have it upside down. Be patient 1 second. There it is. All right. These numbers, I just had it. Hold on. There they are. So it says, hold on, I got to tip it. I can't even hit pause. All right, it's 16 14 gauge wires, 14 12 gauge wires, or 12 10 gauge wires. That is what this box is rated for. I never knew that. And my husband's like a really humble guy. And after he gets all said and done, he's like, that's why we make the big box. I was gobsmacked because I just thought these held boxes. You had 2 switches, go get a 2 box. That's not how they work. But because this is a bigger box, it actually comes calculated for you. He wants me to combine the 2 lights. And I really don't want to, because here's how, when I was saying, bathrooms are supposed to be on one 20 amp dedicated circuit. My bathroom is on 2 different circuits. The GFCI outlet and the ceiling lights are on a 20 amp breaker that is shared with my sitting room, the game room with the pool table, and the one outlet in my living room that's on the opposite wall from the stairs, which is totally a violation. Furthermore, the vanity lights up here, oops, these are on another breaker, which is also 20 amp, but it's my refrigerator breaker that is also shared with the living room lights. Another violation. None of this is supposed to be like this. So I didn't want to mess with it. I just wanted to run a new circuit, and he said I don't have to. I had to pop the pin off of the side of this, which, I don't know. This is a big deal. So if you don't know anything about this, don't run shit. I can fit the 4 switches in here and be within code if I run a 12-3 and I don't have 12-3 wire, and it's $105 for 25 feet. The cost of everything went through the roof. And he was shocked. I said, I'm not paying that. I already have 14-3. I have 14-3 and 14-2. So I have 12-2. I don't have 12-3. So what caused me to go over is if I don't have the 12-3 wire, I can run 2 12-2 wires, one from the light and one from the fan. That puts me 1 wire over code for this box. I'm like, well, I'm still in better shape than I am now because right now I'm 2 wires over. And he's like, whatever. I get in the ceiling and it's a mess. Do you see that the 2x4s? So my joists are running this way, lengthwise. He's got joist braces in, but they're 2x4s that he laid flat. They're not even standing up. They're crooked. He's got the ceiling inside is shimmed with base molding and drywall. Where's my flashlight? Shit. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I brought that back outside. I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to get a flashlight. You have to see. So I have to cut 4.5-inch ductwork to send the duct outside. But the original timber that is the joist brace is like, it's like 6 inches thick in a block, and I'm not getting through it. So I'm just going to take it out and re-brace it. Oh, come on. My flashlight's not going to work now. Hold on. This is why I can't do live. My flashlight's not going to. You fucker. It just worked. I'm sorry. Hold on. I got to get another one. Why is it not working? Because I'm making a video. I went to big box store. Wire was $105 for 25 feet. Oh, none of my fucking flashlights are going to work now. You know, I have the worst fucking luck in the world. It's like, who did I wrong? Who did I wrong? No, I just saw that go on. I'm so pissed right now. I use these flashlights every fucking day. I keep them in the drawer so I know where they are, and they always work. And now all of a sudden I want to use them and show you guys, and they're not working. Okay, that one is now. Wait till you see what he did in the ceiling. So I opened this can of worms. I don't even want the fan anymore, but I can't take it back. Ooh. This is what I have to drill through, and I can't. It's too big. But he's got drywall underneath it. That is just a sheet of drywall. Then he's got these 2x4s that are laying in the wrong direction. They're crooked, and he has them shimmed with floor molding and trim board. This is the inside of my ceiling. It's a mess. And all I have to do is get right outside that wall. So now I have to take that whole block out, run the duct, and frame around it. I don't even want to tie these other lights together because I'm afraid they're on 2 different breakers. I'm putting them on the same switch. So anyway, I have a bunch of tips and tricks. I have to put the fan in. That's what I'm up against at this point. The rest of it I got done. I built, for the first time, these built-in niche shelves, and I wanted them. They would have been easy to do if I wasn't using pattern tile. So I researched them, and if you're ever going to build these shelves, the reason why I want them is because I'm sick of these things. They get dirty. They're hard to clean. I don't like those stickers that go on the wall with the plastic hooks. They break off. The suction cups don't stick. It's a pain in the ass to clean. And this is a more uniform look. So this one is built on the back of my living room drywall. So my biggest concern, I was reading articles on it. They tell you don't build them unless you're going to build them properly and thoroughly waterproof them, because the biggest issue that you run into with these is that they leak. And I don't know if it's because people don't know you have to have a very slight pitch for the bottom shelf for the water runoff, but I caulked all the seams. My concern is that I have a painting on the other side of that wall that I'm not going to move. But if I sell the house, I just put a notation on the wall, don't drill through there, because the drywall is only half an inch thick. Somebody puts a screw through the wall, they're going to pop the fucking tiles off the shower. So I put a thick piece of sheet metal that was left over from the pig roast. So I have a very thin 1/4 inch piece of plywood. Then I have the sheet metal. And then I have my 1/4 inch backer board, plus the tile and the grout, and I've sealed it. Hello, how are you? Whoever's here, welcome. So I wanted this to have the pattern match, and I did. I'm pretty fucking proud of myself because everything's lined up in both directions. Wherever this piece ends, the next one starts and just continues from one side to the other. What I did to break up the pattern was use the subway tile for the base and the sides and top. This one is for big tall shampoo. I wanted another one over here for like the smaller stuff, but it's deeper because that goes to the exterior wall and there was more room. So I put them both in, and I wanted to show you guys, when you're tiling, if you're going to have a shelf or any type of edge, you want your back tile to butt up against the back of this tile. So when I put this tile in, it had a lip about this big. It stuck up over the backer board. Then I had my mortar, then the tile. Because this is nice and flat and flush, the water's going to run off. It's sealed with grout. And when you're looking at it, you don't see the edge. You don't want... Hold on, let me get my other tile. You don't want to see this. You don't want the edge of your tile to be showing over it. Over here, I did something different. So I practiced this stuff. I've never done this before. So I practiced in my own house, because if I fuck it up, I'll learn from it, and I won't do it for a client until I know that I've gotten the ins and outs of it, and whatever mistakes I'm going to make are made. I like the look of this one because it has such clean lines. But because the subway tile has a bullnose, it's not really a cut piece. So you can show it. It's sort of decorative. Plus, it makes for better water runoff. But because I hadn't planned it that way, this is a thick grout line here that I'm not happy with. So that was like a trial and error. But it holds a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks with cleaning out the grout and having your tile look really neat and clean, where even if there are imperfections, you won't see them. The biggest mistake you can make, devil's in the details, is cleaning the grout and making sure that you get your thin set out from between the joints before it completely sets and before you do your grout. So some of the tools I bought some new tools. I have a grout saw. This is a diamond blade grout saw that is replaceable. This is one of my favorite tools. This is a grout removal tool. This triangle has 3 different sizes. So if you look, this one is, this one's the longest and narrowest. It goes deeper. This one is like a mid-size, and then there's one that's like rounder, and it widens the joint. This is if you have thin set still in between your joints, which happened to me on the floor because I got tired and I didn't get all the thin set out, and it was dark thin set, and you could see it through the mortar. So I just scrape all the mortar out today in one whole section of floor. And I use this to do it. This is a nifty new tool. Last time I did the bathroom video, I was using my cutoff wheel to cut through the backer board, thinking that I was gaming the system and I would get it done faster. But the smell, the burning, the smoke and the dust and the sparks that were flying out of the backer board using my cutoff wheel didn't save me any time, and it took like 20 to 30 minutes for the room to clear out. and I couldn't take the smell or the smoke. So I bought the scoring tool, which works really great. My issue with it is it's $12. It's two-sided, but this is a stationary piece. It doesn't have a way to make a replacement like this one where you can loosen the screws. It's $12. Yeah, it stays pretty sharp for a while, but it's gonna dull out. And when it does, you can't replace it. You have to buy a whole new one. So what I did was I thought of a great trick, and I'm looking for I have what's called a hook. It's a utility knife that's called a hook knife. And it's usually for asphalt, shingles, and roofing and stuff, among some other things. And it's a regular utility knife, but it has a different kind of blade, and you cannot put these blades in a regular utility knife. It has to be this kind of utility knife. So this hook razor will score the backer board just as well as this. The difference is, not only are these reversible, like a regular utility knife, you can get replacement blades for them really cheap, which is going to save you a lot of money. So if you have to score backer board, don't waste the $12 on this. Waste the 10 or 12 on this, because it's not a waste. And then you can get replacement blades for like $5 or $6. You get 50 of them. And then you get a nifty little tool that you can use for a bunch of things, not just this. So I scored all of the backer board with either one of these, and it worked really well. I installed I have the wall closed up now, so I installed my new valve. I got a Kingston brass shower diverter and shower head. I have to order the drain and the overflow. I wanted copper, like everything else. So my sink is copper. It's my copper vessel sink with the copper swan faucet. I got the copper shower head, and then they're dusty because I'm drywalling. And I want a two-handle diverter. I can't stand single-handle diverters. I don't know why. I haven't ever liked them since they came out. I don't like them. I want two handles. This one, the plumbing was all fucked up. Nice big access panel in the wall. I open it up, no shutoffs. So I had to turn the water off to the house, add shutoffs, shark bites. I had to reconfigure the plumbing like 5 times. I finally got that done. The plumbing was confusing for this diverter because if you look, this has a hot and cold mark on it, and this one doesn't. And they both say off and on, and they want the handles to go down. So I had to figure out how to get this to be off. This is like this because this operates and functions like a single handle diverter, but with an on-off switch. This is your hot and cold, so it stays there. That's perfect temperature. And to turn the water on, you just turn that bell. The shower head is so small. Oh, sorry about that. The shower head was so small that I was skeptical about ordering it because anyone who knows me and watches my videos knows that I bitch all the time about water pressure and those fucking governors. Any hotel I stay in, the first thing I do when I get there is I pull the screwdriver off my key ring, I disconnect the shower head, and I pop the fucking governor out because I have to be able to wash my hair. And I'm an adult. I don't need the government or any other regulatory body to tell me how much water I'm entitled to use. I'll actually use less water if you give me more because I'll wash my hair faster than having to have it run longer to get the shampoo out. This had a metal molded governor that was built into, it was built into the pipe that went up, the valve connector that went up to the shower head. I tried to smash it with a nail and a hammer. I couldn't get it out. But this is $310 for their, Kingston brass. I bought it for $90 on Amazon in an open box. And I was nervous because I bought it a year ago and I'm just putting it in. So if it was missing pieces, I was screwed. I got lucky. This is the only shower head and faucet. It's better than Moen, better than Delta. It's completely metal. All of the components inside are all metal. The only place that there was one plastic piece was in here for when you lift the metal valve up, the little piece in here is plastic. Every component, the handles weigh 1 pound each. That little shower head weighs over 3 pounds. It feels like a fucking grenade in your hands. The water pressure that came out of that little shower head was so fierce, I had to turn it down twice. I love taking my showers now. It is insane. Not to mention, I can comfortably leave my water temperature set, and I've had the most consistently tempered water for the last 4 showers I've taken in the new shower. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my old shower, I thought it was just my plumbing. All throughout my shower, I was always adjusting, a little add a hot, add a little cold, add a little hot. The temperature was constantly changing. It must have been the old handles and whatever. I don't know. This consistently stays the same temperature. So now I leave it where it's set and just turn the water on. And I know that's my temperature. So I have that set up. And then I closed off the wall today. I have leftover tile. I wanted to show you the grout. So the grout that I used, I'm going to grout something. I ran out of regular grout, which is the powder that you mix. But I found 2 buckets in the garage that I bought on clearance. These were like $30 buckets, $32. And I got them on clearance for like somewhere between $3 and $5. And I was afraid that I had left them in the garage all winter and they froze. It says right on the bucket that if it freezes, just bring it down to room temperature and use it as is. Just don't stir it while it's defrosting. This is pre-mixed. Hold on, I missed someone's comment. Oh, that was Independent Thinker. So this is a little odd to use, and the instructions are slightly different. So this took me so long to do. I wound up showering before this wall was done and grouted because I just needed a shower. So I ran out of grout. So I redid all of it. The colors were virtually the same, but I went over the whole thing for it to be consistent. I left a spot in the subway tile in the trim that I did today that needs to be grouted because this is really different. You install this differently. The regular stuff, you mix it, you wait 10 minutes, you mix it again, and you use your float, you put it on at a 45-degree angle. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is the float. So you put it on at an angle, you wait a few minutes at 90 degrees, you scrape it off, you wait 20 minutes, wipe it with a damp sponge, and then like a couple minutes later, you wipe it down with a dry microfiber cloth when it has that film on it. This, you have to moisten the tiles with a microfiber cloth before you put the grout on because it doesn't spread as well. If you don't, it gets dry. It's crumbly. So I wasn't even using the float at one point. I was just grabbing it and shoving it in the joint and then fixing it afterwards. But you have to clean it up immediately. There's no waiting. There's no 20 minutes or 10 minutes. Wet sponge immediately, damp microfiber cloth, and then you have to do the dry one a little bit like 20 minutes later. It's hard to clean off the tile if you don't get a very faint film. So the only thing I have left to do is the subway tile that I brought down. I had to trim this today, so I didn't have to cut these tiles. So I'm going to clean out, I'm going to show you the grout tools because I have to clean out the joints on those subway tiles before I put the grout in. And I can show you this one. I like to use a putty knife for a lot of things. So I'm just going to clean out in here. Up here. Get this stuff out. If you have thin set or anything in your joints before you put your grout in, it's gonna show through the grout, and the grout's not gonna adhere the way it needs to. So you got to get that stuff out. I'm gonna get my putty knife because I prefer the putty knife. Here it is. This just cleans it up so much easier. And I like to just put it right in there, pull it out. That's what she said. This is a little bit of construction adhesive because I was not fucking thin setting this today. So this is pretty much clean. All right. Before I go on, I want to show you, see this imperfection? That's not a nick in the tile. This is where your tile can look really messy or it can look really good. It looks like the seam is off. The seam is not off. It's just messy grout. This little piece has to come off. And so does this. Hang on, I gotta use the other hand. is not my normal putty knife. Where's my regular fucking putty knife? I don't know. My other putty knife is round, and it fits right in there. All right, I got that off. Then I wash my microfiber cloth. Once this gets cleaned up, now your seams look straight and they're cleaner. I have, there's another spot where it's like the corners. I had to do the same for the bottom where I left it on purpose. It's a little thicker here, so it doesn't look even. But you can use this to go along the bottom and take off the excess so that it's consistently the same even line. It's the same thing with your corners. I saw one today that I thought looked chipped. And I said, how could it be chipped? I didn't cut it. It was because the corner wasn't properly cleaned and it made my grout lines look like they were off. So you got to make sure your corners are square and that you take the time to properly clean this stuff. This is where the devil is in the details, because you can make flaws look like they're not there if you do it right, or you can make it look like your tile looks like shit and they might be done properly if you have messy grout lines. And that just what that, I'm sorry, that has to get cleaned. So I will painstakingly look for anything that has to get cleaned up so my grout lines are all straight and even. I use tile spacers, so they shouldn't be different. Otherwise, you can use this if you just need to scrape the surface, and you just sort of, wherever you have to take something off, like here. There you go. I like this for the side of the tile. So sometimes the grout will come out of the joint up over the next tile, even a tiny bit. And if you don't clean it off, it makes that joint look wider. And then once it's on the tile and it sets and cures that way, it's very hard to, what is it? Bad what? Bad point. New York Da Vinci bricks. I don't know what you're saying. So that's all cleaned up. Then I'm going to show you the grout over here because it's very different. I got to go get my sponge though. I thought I brought everything in here, but I washed the sponges in the rags, so they're in the other room. It's like one of those car wash sponges, but I also keep a couple of microfiber cloths because you have to keep making sure your sponge is clean and your microfiber towels are clean. So I'm going to bring this one. I don't need two this time. It's only a few tiles. And my sponge might be, I may put the sponge back in the bucket in the bathroom. So I'm going to make sure it's not in the kitchen. All right. I don't know. I can never find anything. And Taylor fell asleep. Oh, you woke up. Sorry, Taylor. She woke up. I woke her up. Bless you. I have the sponge is right in the tub. What the fuck? It was right behind me. This is your grout sponge. So I'm going to get them moistened and wrung out. You don't want them soaking wet. You just want them a little more than damp. This will be a little bit more wet than this. You have to get the tiles wet first, just sort of damp, and then you can spread the grout. And then you're going to immediately wash off the excess and use the microfiber to clean it up. Normally, other grouts aren't like that. This is just this particular grout, and it also says that this grout never has to be sealed. You can seal it if you choose to, but if you're going to, you have to get a non-polymer-based sealer, or it will discolor. All right, so here we go. Where's mine? I'm going to use my little scoop. No, I'm not. Shit. So I'm just going to put a bunch in here. And then I'll get my float. Here's the float. Oh, I forgot to moisten the fucking the tile. I just fucking said that too. All right, so the tile. And it tells you on the directions that you have to use this in small 1x4 sections. You can't just use a whole bunch of it because it's really hard to clean up. But they tell you to press it into the joints. And so I'm gonna, here's my float. So it gets all over the place. But, and the difference with this one is that another float with the regular powdered grout that you mix, you put it on with a 45-degree angle and then scrape it off at a 90. This one has to be put on flat. And then you can move it around at 45, but it doesn't come off the float unless you do it flat. And then you do the 90 to clean it up. I'm gonna get some down here. Gotta get it the crack. And then, come on. Here we go. I am going to caulk the seams over here next to the wood with kitchen and bath caulk afterwards because I have to paint that and I'm not going to paint the grout. So push this around. All right, got that in there. Shove it in there really good. You want to equally get every joint. This is like your sealer. So if you don't do this properly, you're going to get water issues. All right. Clean that up. And then get some more up here. Okay. All right, I forgot to moisten the tile at the top again, so it's not spreading as easily. You gotta get it moist, you gotta get it wet or it won't spread. All right, that's done. That's all I have left to grout, but I wanna make sure I get all these side pieces all the way through to the edge. All right, and then you take your sponge and clean it off. Clean off the tiles. Get your corners cleaned. Get your edges flat, flush, and cleaned up. Get rid of the excess where there's just nothing but a little bit of a film left over. If you see it's hazy, that's the only amount that you want on there, or it will dry and be very hard to get off. So, you don't want to get the tiles really wet at this point. So, bottom, this is not, I'm going to put a piece. There we go. Gotcha. I have a little crevice right here. I'm still going to seal it with silicone, but I still want the grout in there. And I was missing a little, there we go, little hairline spot. Come on. There we go. Down. Gotcha. Now, clean this up. And then up here. Then you take your microfiber. This is barely wet. And you're just going to clean the rest of this off without removing any more of the grout. You're just going to clean off the tiles. So it is a little faster because you're not going to mix it and then wait 10 minutes and then mix it again. You just open the bucket and use it. But if you don't clean it up really fast, you're going to waste time cleaning it up later. This one corner is not staying. There we go. Come on. Gotcha. All right, that grout is done. And then when it dries, later on you can take a completely dry microfiber cloth and just dry wipe it and get the rest of the dust off. And then don't wash it for like, I think they say 24 to 48 hours. The next thing is, I had extra tiles left over. When I put this bathroom in, I'm going to go over the prices and how much. So this bathroom was completely renovated. I just bought the house, like it's almost a year now. It was disgusting. This cabinet, come on. This was dark brown. This is the original cabinet. I left the cabinets because I kind of like them. They're like custom wood cabinets that you don't normally find. So I painted them white to freshen them up. I got new hardware. I did mismatched hardware in the colors and styles that I like because I got them on clearance for $1 or $2. I put them on the closet and then the cabinets. So they were like Hobby Lobby. There's birds. It's all different. Marshalls, TJ Maxx. Wherever I found that color. This is the same subway tile that's in the shower. This is the tile that's in the shower. I didn't want to replace the countertop. So, and it had a drop sink. So there's a big hole in the middle. I put a wood board, plywood, to close off the hole and routed the depth so that there would be enough of a gap in the countertop that I could put thin set and tile from the shower underneath here so the vessel had something to rest on. And I used the same tile that was in the shower to tie the look together. When I got done today, I still had extra tile left over and I put some up here. I'm not going to grout it. I'm just leaving them. I used liquid nails. I just like the teal aqua color between them. And so I spaced them evenly across. There's like a 1 1/4 inch gap in between each of them. And I have 1/8 inch spacers. I used 4 of them. So it was a 1/2 inch from the top to the bottom. And now I can take them out. And I just wanted to incorporate more of the tile to make use of it. But I still kept a few pieces in case like a piece breaks. But I just thought it was a nice way to, tie in the shower without going crazy. And then it brings this together as well. And then this just kind of gave the countertop an update. I did not replace the tub. I did not replace the toilet. I only replaced the sink and the fixtures. These are the copper pendant fixtures that I made where I bought sheets of copper, fit them over. I retrofitted them over shades that I liked and then mixed different chemicals to get the patina color that I want. This one was done. I still have to finish putting nail holes in it. I have one more of those that's going to go where this light is at some point. It cost, let's see. So the shower tile was like $8 or $9 a square foot from Marola. So I love Marola tile. It's different. It's unique. In fact, I have Marola tile that I used in my last 2 houses and in the kitchen. So the tile was, I wanted to say it was like $150, like $130 a case. And I think I bought 5 cases, but I had almost 2 full cases left over. You need extra for your cuts. So I had like 3 tiles missing from 1 case, which burned me up because I can't return an open case. But I do have 1 more case in the car that's going to go back. The subway tile was $12 to $13 a sheet. It comes 12 square feet. Each row is 12 inches. You can cut them apart or you can leave them whole. I got them on clearance for $1.63 a sheet. Thin set is like $8 a bag. When I did my floor, the people that sold me the house had god-awful stick-on tile that they didn't even properly install because it was coming up and sliding over itself. You can tile right over linoleum or stick-on tile so long as they're in good shape and they're not curling, cracked, or peeling. So if there was one that was out of position, I took it off. If you're going to put tile on linoleum or stick-on without a backer board, you can do it as long as you buy a polymer modified thin set. It has an extra adhesive additive in it. So polymer modified thin set will allow you to ceramic tile right over wood, linoleum or stick-on tiles. So I put this is like a wood plank. I'm also drywalling. This is like a wood plank, but it's ceramic. Because Taylor, it was originally either $289 to $309 a square foot. Got it on clearance in Home Depot for 93 cents a square foot. So the floor cost me $80. And I have 2 full boxes left in the garage, but I'm not going to return them because I'm only going to get $10 back. The thin set was one 60-pound bag and another half for the floor and the shower. So I back butter floor tiles. I back buttered the shower tiles also because I used a really small joint. I used a really small trowel to get tight joints. So because the rows weren't that thick, I back buttered. I've always back buttered. Back buttering is when you put the thin set on the floor of the wall, you make your pattern with the trowel, and you put the mortar on the back of the tile in the same pattern so they lock together. On floors, I will always back butter because you want the extra adhesion. People are walking all over it, and especially if it's a high traffic area. For the wall, you don't really have to, but in the shower, I figured why not? So I always back butter my tiles, which means you're going to use a little extra mortar. Mortar's like $8 to $10 a bag. It's not expensive. Even the grout, the box of grout that I initially started with, it's like $12. I think it's like $12 a bag. I was able to grout the entire floor and 3/4 of the shower with the one box. So all said and done, what cost me the most was the fucking plumbing. I was into shark bite fittings for that, to put the diverter and the plumbing in. Like, I want to say $250 to $300 in shark bites. For the shutoffs, I needed female adapters that were threaded to go into the valve that had a shark bite connector to put on the copper nipple to the shutoff and the water lines. It got so, I wound up reconfiguring all of it. Took some of the copper out and just used braided water lines because I had them, and I got like $250 returned. The price of everything has gone through the roof. I bought this tile a year ago and figured it wasn't going to cost. I bought the tile and the subway a year ago before I moved in. I'm like, I just had some thin set and some grout. No. It cost me so much more because of the plumbing parts. I told you the Kingston brass shower head, and I'll turn the shower on. You'll wait till you see the water pressure out of this little tiny head. And then you adjust it. And the best part is you can move it all around. So you can actually wash your tile in your tub. The last shower head I had was this stupid, ridiculous arm. It was a rain head shower. It came out of the wall, went up, went over, and then turned back down with this shower head that went straight down, and you couldn't move it or shift it at all. So I had to get buckets. Once I scrubbed the tile and tub, I had to get buckets to throw it at the wall to rinse it. There was no rinsing the shower, which is another reason why I don't want those hanging things anymore. This will allow me to clean the shower. I have these because I'm not going to have anything on the wall anymore other than some decorative hooks that I'm looking into that match. They will be aesthetically pleasing. They'll be tied together, and they will be permanently adhered to the wall like a screw. So I can clean around them. That's just to hang my puff, my scrubby gloves, and some razors. Everything else fits on these shelves. I can fit 3 sets of shampoo and conditioner. My grapeseed oil and my shaving cream was all on this shelf. This one will take the smaller bottles. My body wash, 2 more bottles of conditioner, all of my face, like my masks and cleansers, that's going to go once I have hooks. So it's going to be a neat, clean shower, completely updated, and the whole thing was less than $1,000. So the only thing that might not be somebody's taste, if you don't like the tile, you don't like the tile. But I'll paint any color I want. Everything else I do is with attention to detail for the functionality and effectiveness of the room, plus the resale. If you don't like my choice of paint, like I'll do more fixtures and things in neutrals. I like the soft aqua. That's my color. This is my signature color. If you don't like it, a coat of paint is really easy to change a room. The room was like a puke color. I'm going to post some photos, get the video done, of what this room looked like It had old bubbled glass shower doors with 3 pieces of glued on acrylic tub surround, and the walls weren't even plumb. Over here were the 4-inch by 4-inch horrible marble looking, like the small tile that looks like it was glued on in a sheet. I broke all that off and I built these shadow boxes, and I think it was about $80 for all. I have to finish back here. I didn't do that one yet. So all the parts they made with trim pieces, and these are PVC, so it's okay to use them in the bathroom, and they come primed, so they're easy to work with, and you don't have to worry about them. It's not MDF. You can't put MDF in a bathroom because it blows up like a tampon when it gets wet. This is the trim. This is his trim. I just used tongue and groove pine, which is the solid wood, for the spacers in here, and it's it was kind of like a wainscoting. It's like a beadboard, but smooth. It didn't have the grooves, and it has a shine to it. So that's the base, and then I got a chair rail base molding kit that came together with both pieces, and I just fitted it in. The whole bathroom cost me less than $1,000, and it should have cost me closer to $600. But with all the plumbing parts I had to buy from what couldn't be returned, and the extra stuff, the tile was a little bit expensive. And the copper, I fucked up with the copper because I hadn't done that before, and I made a mistake several times with how thick of a gauge copper I needed to make these pendants. First it was too thick and I couldn't bend it, then it was too thin, it was like tinfoil. I spent way too much money on the copper, but now that I know what gauge I need, I can buy sheets of copper and make pendants however I want, and I'll wind up saving money in the future. The closet, there are 2 closets in here, which is great. But this one had no shelving in it. It had a closet rod across, like a coat closet. So I put all the shelves in. Oh, sorry, Taylor. I just kicked her. I'm sorry, baby. I used scrap wood for the shelves that I found outside. And the fixtures are just Edison bulb hanging fixtures with a fabric cord, so it looked a little nicer. They were $5 in Walmart, and the shades were like $12 in Home Depot. And I am going to, do you guys have any questions? I see there are a few of you here, and I don't know if you guys, I know I went quickly. My cousin is going to walk me through changing this. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm amazed. If you don't know that those gang boxes have a load-bearing capacity in them, then don't run your own electrical, because I never knew it. And I would just do I know enough about electrical to get me in trouble. Same as plumbing. I specialize in carpentry, masonry, painting, drywall. Not really drywall, but I had to rebuild this. The wall wasn't plumb, and I've been working on sanding it and building it out today. So this tile is going to finish here. I'm not getting pencil tile, and I'm not putting a subway tile. So I've been sanding this. I had to build this up with the mud and enclose around the shower fixture. I had to pop this piece of drywall out because I forgot to put the wires through the ceiling before I closed out the wall. So I popped this off, ran the wires down where the existing wires are. So I just had to close up the seams and sand. Then I'm just going to touch up the paint, and I use the Behr. I like Behr. This one is the anti-mold, I think. Yeah, stain blocking paint and primer, scuff defense, but it's got a mold resistance in it, so it's good for bathrooms. And I just touch up the paint, and I think that was everything. The other tools, diamond hole saws. I had to make the diverter for the shower required, the standard is 1 3/8. So all of the diamond hole saws that I was looking for to put the holes were all 1 3/8. These shower handles are huge. They weigh so much, and they're so large that the cartridges that come through are 2 inches. So I needed a 2-inch diamond hole saw. That's where I started getting into really expensive money. One of them was like $45, $50. This Kingston brass shower diverter also has an anti-scald temperature setting inside the cartridge. It maxes out at 120 degrees, but it teaches you, it gives you the instructions in the manual that if you want to adjust it to either have a hotter temperature, or you can just take the anti-scald off altogether, then anti-scald off altogether you can. I took it off. I don't have any children in my house, and I think sometimes when we have too many safety features, then we don't think about what we're doing because we're just so protected that use your fucking common sense. Either don't let your toddlers play with hot water, or be careful with the faucet. So I took them out because I would rather have to be careful than to not think about it. This is the QEP Diamond Hole Saw. That's the 1 3/8. This was $33, but it comes with a water well. So this is for wet. This is for a drill. You can use it in any size drill chuck. It comes with a bunch of these stickers. I still have a few left. I think it comes with like 8 or 9. You peel the paper off. You put the sticker right on the bottom here. Peel the other side and stick it to the tile. Then you fill the reservoir with water so that when you are cutting your tile, it doesn't heat up, it doesn't chip, and you can get a really nice hole without damaging the tile. I had to do that because the tile was going to land, the diverter cartridges were going to land right in the middle of the tile, so I couldn't just cut around edges. But the 2-inch, oh, by the way, if you're going to use shark bites, make sure you get the removal tool. Because if you don't lock them in place perfectly, they will leak. They won't leak if you put them in right. The 2-inch hole saw, I'm looking for, it's not, you know why it's not in here? They didn't make it for a drill or an impact driver. It was only for a grinder. So I have that installed on my 4.5-inch angle grinder. It worked really well. They tell you to hold it at a slight 45-degree angle when you get the hole started. Let the hole start on one side, and once it's scored and in, then lay it flat and make the rest of your circle so it doesn't bounce around on the tile. I got gorgeous, perfectly round holes cut in the tile for the shower diverter and the valves and the faucet. I had to raise the shower head up because it was where those pink gloves are because of the rain shower head. If that was down there, the water was hitting me in the chest. So I had to change the pipe and run a longer copper pipe up to the shower head. And now I'm very happy with where the water lands. The other tools, this was on clearance. This was $33 in Home Depot on clearance for $10. I have no use for it now, but I might later. These are on glass, scoring glass nippers. I could have used them for the subway tiles, but my cutoff wheel worked well. And then I got, this was $12. And then I returned the other ones, I think. I got these, they were $7 marked down from $20. They were angled. They were tile nippers, but they were cut on an angle. I had no use for them and they were awkward to use. So I returned them because I have too much shit I don't need. I think that is everything. I think I got it all done. And I got it done in less than an hour. I'm just pushing it. Is there anybody that has any questions? We have the one person that's here, if you have any questions. I want to just quickly, if there is anyone that pops back in, I'm going to go over my next project. I have a few that I'm going to be starting soon. One is that I'm going to be building a walk-in closet in my bedroom. I'm going to expand my existing closet, sort of change its direction by moving the door. I also got additional clearance tile for the sitting room because the carpet's disgusting. It always was, and I hate it. So at this point, I wipe my feet on it. I don't care because I hate it. So this disgusting carpet is going to get ripped out. And out in the garage, I have 18 by 24 inch larger tiles that are like, they look like marble. They're like this big, fat, chunky tiles. Those are going to go on the floor in here. And then the kitchen is my big project. My cabinets are falling apart. If you notice, they're starting to come off the ceiling. There's a gap. They're actually separating. Up in the corner of the cabinet, they're coming apart. They were put in the 80s, and they're just box cabinets. They've been here 40 years, and their day is done. So I'm replacing the cabinets. I am moving the 30, I'm going to get rid of the 30-inch electric cooktop, getting rid of the space saver microwave. I am building a brick island from bricks that were left over from a paving job, and a 36-inch Z-line gas cooktop is going to go in the middle. That it's going to come over to there. There'll be enough room for a breakfast bar for seating. This stupid useless pantry's coming out, and a Lazy Susan corner cabinet's going to go there, with one more cabinet here to connect the island like a horseshoe. This is coming out. The half wall's coming out. This is going. So the island's going to come all the way out to here, over to there, and it's going to be huge. I'm also going to put a copper instant water faucet coming out of the wall, and I have a big, huge copper range, the hood, the one that looks like that goes on an angle, the big, huge ones. That's going to go where the light fixture is right now. All new cabinets are going to go in, and I was going to add cabinets over here, but I'm not. This was going to get a regular one, but I'm going to leave this because this is the copper Marola tile. It looks like copper from for the backsplash. This is all going to get the copper and the patina mixed in, and a pot hanging rack like this one is going to go underneath here, and I'm going to be adding a few cabinets because the Lazy Susan's going to go there. I'm changing the configuration of these because all they did was buy 4 sets of the same cabinet. There's no counter space. There is no drawer space. I'm getting larger drawers, bigger cabinets, and then over here is going to be just drawers, and over here is going to be just drawers. And then there will be a new upper, the Lazy Susan, a new lower. So, and then this is going to be all cabinets. The brick island is going to have the door, I'm going to order cabinet door replacements, and there'll be 3 doors for cabinets underneath the cooktop. And then I got these really cool steampunk copper stools that I haven't ordered, but I found them online. I'm not going to buy them until the island and stuff get done. That won't be started until later this summer because I ain't got no money. Everything is so expensive now, and I can't afford to do anything else. So I already have the hood. I do not have the stove. And I have to get a microwave because I can't stand space saver microwaves. The closet, I already have the lumber for that. That's easy. And the drywall. All I have to do is put another layer of drywall in that corner in the bathroom. And then when it's dry, I'm going to sand it and then touch it up with paint. That is everything that I've been working on with the bathroom. And I do love how the tile came out. But this is I'm going to get a few loose pieces. These are the pieces that look like the patina that get mixed in. They're going to be scattered. So I put them back here behind the sink for this faucet and the copper sink here, and I got the copper dishwasher, and I have a copper hood. These are, it comes in 4 patterns. These are the hand-painted copper Spanish tile. These 2 tiles, these are $20 a square foot. These are $197 a box, and you only get 23 tiles. This one is $22 a square foot, and the tiles are $205 for 1 box. Sorry, I was not paying attention when I ordered that tile. I fell in love with it, and I wasn't paying attention because I ordered everything at the same time. I had a heart attack when I went to add a box of tile because I didn't know I spent that much. I would not have spent it. I do not cut corners on appliances, and I don't cut corners on a handful of choice finishes that are going to be higher end, that will elevate the entire room and cover up the areas where I don't spend a ton of money. I will be buying Hampton Bays box cabinets unfinished because I'm going to be painting them and finishing them myself. And they're not, I've done enough research and hung enough cabinets to be able to tell you that unless you have custom wood cabinets made, there really aren't any cabinet companies, even American Woodmark. They're not wood. They're all constructed the same, and really one's not much better than the other. So I'm going to spend $1,000, $1,200 on Hampton Bay unfinished versus $7,000 or $8,000 for American Woodmark for the same construction and same components in the cabinets themselves. I'm going to paint them a very, very, very pale patina color. So it's not, I don't want to overdo. So it's very pale and soft. And it's going to pop with the copper tiles. That's what's coming this summer. And then hopefully I'm going to get the tile in this room done shortly. That's the hardwood flooring for the game room. And at some point, I'm moving the front door. I've had it. It belongs here. It does not belong over here. So I will be moving the front door, moving this closet, and moving the window. That's going to be in the fall. If you guys have questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you want to share it with somebody, please do. If you think someone's going to benefit from any of the information. And if you have questions on any of the products, let me know. I'll tell you where to get them and what they cost. Have a great night.